Today, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I romanticize my life as a 44-year-old woman, fully grown adult woman, and how I live a romantic life in the countryside. I live on an organic farm in Salmon Arm, BC, Canada, with my husband, and we farm this land together, which I find to be very romantic. This past week, we got a lot of work done. My husband put a lot of compost down, and we're preparing beds so that we can plant things. And it's a lot of work. And so, my plan this Saturday was to have a luxurious breakfast in bed and take it easy. I listen to a lot of podcasts and music while I work, and I find that can get very overstimulating when you listen to things for hours on end. And so I decided to take a break from any type of content and pull out some magazines and books this weekend and have breakfast in bed. And it was so luxurious. I've dreamed of this for so long. And I found this little breakfast in bed tray at our thrift store. And so I decided that I was going to do a breakfast in bed, which has been my dream for years. And it was so, so nice. As a young girl of 13 to 14 years old, back in the 90s, um, we didn't have social media and online content to gather inspiration from. And what I really liked at that age was the Victoria magazine, which they still have now. But those older copies of that magazine, I find so inspiring. And it just takes me back to that time period of being a 14-year-old girl who was looking at the magazine and gathering inspiration for what I wanted my life to look like. There are so many romantic images in there of cottage scenes, flowers, and surprisingly, there are a lot of romantic scenes of mother and child, families, and husband and wife. And you really don't see that anymore in any of today's catalogs, magazines, or anything of the sort. But I found these copies at the thrift store, and I just love looking at them because it brings me back to that time as a girl. And what I've realized is that my life has really turned out how I imagined it back then. But I've taken a lot of wrong turns and twists along the way to get here. But I kind of am living this idyllic life in the countryside. And so I want to spend my time romanticizing where I'm at in life now as a 44-year-old woman. There's nothing more romantic than putting your phone away and pulling out maybe a romance novel or any kind of book that is inspiring to you. Going outside and picking some flowers, even some roadside weeds would do, and just lounging. It's interesting to me that as a young girl, you're always looking ahead and you're always searching for your dream and what you want your life to look like. And now at 44 years old, I'm looking back and I'm searching to the past to see if I became the person I wanted to be. And what were the stops along the way that got me here? It's really interesting at this age to see what inspires me now. And I'm still inspired by the same things that inspired me as a 14-year-old girl. And I think that that time period of my life was my coming of age. I feel like that Victoria magazine has been etched in my mind all of these years. And all of the choices I've made, whether it's sewing a nightgown or baking a cake or buying linens and lace, it all stems from the memory of that magazine. Living my most romantic life means dressing the part. And I've sewn myself dresses and skirts, and I've collected and thrifted, and I have a whole wardrobe now of clothing that I love. I've also been inspired by movies like Pride and Prejudice and Anne of Green Gables, and I love to do my hair in a more romantic hairstyle, whether it's an updo or a braid. And sometimes I wear my hair down, but I have quite wild curly hair, so I don't always wear it down. Here's the thrift store that I go to on a regular basis. And on this Saturday, we happened to come across a trunk, a car trunk sale, which I didn't know was happening. We just kind of ran into it. And I collected some really fun pieces. So I'm going to bring that home and show you what I got. We also went to the nursery and I picked up some pansies, of course, inspired by my Victoria magazine, and just checked out the plants. It was a very nice outing with my husband and my son, and then I brought everything home. I'm going to show you everything I picked up today. The first thing was these lace doilies that I found at the thrift store. And I wanted to get something like that for my breakfast cart because I thought it would look really pretty to have those laid down underneath my dishes and plates as a Victorian touch that I think is very pretty. Next, I found this espresso pot, which I just bought one, but I kind of broke the handle on it. And I found this very sturdy vintage one, and it actually says it's from 1978, which is the year my sister was born. And it's a lot more solid and sturdy than my $30 Walmart pot. And I only paid $3 for this one. Next, I found this white cotton summer dress in the boutique at our thrift store, which is priced a little bit higher than the rest of the store. And I just really like white. I think it's fresh and it's summery. And this just gives me beach vibes. I feel like I could wear it over top of my swimsuit at the beach. And it's just going to be light and breezy for the summer. I spent $10 on the dress. And then at the car trunk sale, I found this painting. It's an original oil painting. And I only paid $1 for this. Now, it's not professionally painted, it's kind of amateur, but I just like cow scenes and country scenes. And the fact that it was an original painting, I had to get it for $1. And here are those beautiful pansies that I picked up at the garden center. I also found these butter paddles at the car trunk sale, and I spent $2 on these. And I've never seen any of these. These look antique or vintage. And because I'm making a lot of cheese and yogurt, I might try making butter next. And then I also found a couple of vintage cookie cutters to add to my collection. I paid 50 cents for those. Aside from the garden center, I only spent about $20 total on all of my thrifted items. And I knew that I wanted to replace this picture on this wall. And so I decided that that would be a good spot to put the cow painting. And I could actually fit something quite a bit larger on this wall. So I don't know if this will stay here, but I really wanted to replace that other picture. Thrifting is a way that I can romanticize my life because I can buy things very inexpensively that add a romantic touch to my home. And the other thing that I find very romantic is taking walks in the countryside, which I'm privileged to be able to do on our own property on this farm. All of the blossoms are coming to life this time of year, and there are hawthorn blossoms ready right now. And we also have a lot of rose bushes on the property that I can collect roses from as well, but those aren't out yet. There's nothing more romantic than taking a picnic or just a nice little break on the ground in the countryside on a beautiful sunny spring day. This looked like it came from the mint family, but it didn't have any scent to it, so I left it behind. Something else that will be out soon are wild strawberries, so I was on the lookout for those. They're very tiny, but they're delicious. Time in silence and solitude is good for the soul. Another thing that I dreamed of as a young girl was having my very own herb garden. And I have one. It's right here. And I love that I have this. It's overgrown with weeds right now, and I need to get in here and do some work. But I love that I have a lot of the things that I dreamed of as a girl. It's time for a nice little lunch. I made myself a sandwich with some cheese that I made myself and some of our farm microgreens. And I am just going to lounge the afternoon away and dream romantic thoughts. Let me know in the comments, what are some of the things that you do to romanticize your life? I would love to know. I personally love to get into a good romance novel every now and again. And for me, it has to be a historical romance. If you're new to my channel, I make content on homemaking, food from scratch, and life on our farm. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in next week's video.